Hey, everybody. You want to talk about cats? It's going to be a cats heavy day here at Screen Junkies. Welcome to SJU. I'm Joe Starr. I'm here with two very special boys. There's Dan Murrell
Hello.
and there's Spencer J. Gilbert.
Hey now, how's it going?
Oh, man, just really excited to hang out with you guys and talk about cats and weird stuff. You ready to do this?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let's do it, brother.
Sure.
JKL, man.
Let me put an asterisk on this, man. My internet's going to cut out any minute now just because that's what it does. So, when I fall, brother, y'all keep carrying that baton for me. You hear me? All right. Look, it's a weird day because a little while back, Disney did a remake of Lady and the Tramp and replaced a perfectly well-animated Lady and Tramp with, weird little godless, empty-eyed CGI heretical monsters. And we didn't like it. It was weird. And then Cats happened. And we thought humanity had learned its lesson because look at that. Look at that.
And look at that.
And look at that. And apparently they have not, especially not Disney. I think there's a weird...
Joe,
Yes.
in the spirit of this show being a complete and total train wreck, can I go tell my wife to get the door real quick?
No, absolutely.
Yes, please.
No, hand
Perfect.
me your stuff. Tell Jackie we said hi. And Dan,
Yes, sir.
what's going on? The egomaniacs at Disney are not going to be out-creeped by cats. So long and short of it, they're going to remake Robin Hood, the classic animated, handsome fox, sexy maid, Robin Hood. But they're going to do it with this mocap, weird Lion King style, but with anthropomorphic animals wearing clothes. This is via to her. Immediate reactions, Dan, to this travesty.
Well, if there's anything that the marketplace is clamoring for right now, it's another version of Robin Hood.
We have
look at
our
this.
stream
We
debut.
have a fourth panelist.
Baby Gilbert while my wife gets the door.
I was a little worried that the stream was just three white dudes today. So
Yeah, we mixed it up.
That's
we
good.
got to mix it up.
This is my Mary Sue. What do you think about Ray? Nothing. That's right.
Oh,
She said bad. I heard her. She said bad.
Annie, Spencer, when Disney does this horrific remake, are you going to show it to her?
Hopefully no. Hopefully she won't stumble across the sexy Robin Hood when it comes out. I assume that's where you went with it, given what Zootopia did to foxes, that they're only going to escalate that.
Yeah. Well,
That's
here's
true.
the thing. That's been around for a long time, though. Like most women I know were very attracted to cartoon fox back in the day. They were like, "Oodalati, what a man."
Yeah, it's a weird. It's got a weird legacy. It's not my Robin Hood. Mine's the Kevin Costner version through and through.
Russell Crowe for me. I believe is the definitive Robin Hood.
Mine is definitely Kid from Kingsman because that's the one that's left.
Well, that's because you had to forget everything that you thought you knew.
Yeah, and then learn a whole lot of new things that
The same
turns out
stuff.
I had already known. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't
wild.
Jamie Foxx make him do like old timey CrossFit or something to
Yeah.
get
More or
ready?
less.
And then doesn't that movie end with look
Yeah,
over there, it's a forest, Sherwood Forest, and then they roll the
They
credits.
had him flipping wagon wheels. Yeah, it was terrible. So this is going to be directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada, who did Blind Spotting, who's delightful. It's going to be written by Kara Grenlin, who wrote that Lady and the Tramp thing. But I honestly don't think with stuff like this, it matters who's directing it. Like, this is just going to be a weird animated minefield that I can't forgive Jon Favreau for because he loves this stuff.
I want to
It
know.
is weird. I
who's-
mean, it worked with the Jungle Book, and I watched Lady and the Tramp. It was fine, It wasn't terrible. It wasn't off-putting. But I imagine if they were wearing human clothes, it'd be a lot weirder.
Right? Yeah,
and bipedal.
It was
Yes.
just a cute dog. Yeah.
We're really we're really pushing the bounds of the see. Okay, here's a live peek at what Robin Hood's gonna look like.
Oh no!
Scoop McGee emailed that to me.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Don't scare the children, Joe.
It's going to be a real weird movie. I'm sorry that I threw that at you guys with no warning. Did you guys see the Call of the Wild movie with Harrison Ford and the fake dog?
I did not, but the trailers were very off-putting.
Yeah. Why do we keep making these journeys into the uncanny valley knowing what's on the other side? Spencer?
Well, look, having just come off my rewatch of Tiger King, it's good to not abuse animals. If you can replace them convincingly with CGI, go ahead. But at the same time, I think you could have gotten a well-trained dog to follow Harrison Ford around the woods.
I really think you could have. Like, there are some talented dogs. I think the Air Bud franchise and Frasier alone proved that.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah. It's weird.
Okay.
I want to know who's.
Say bye-bye, fans.
Bye. I want to know
out of here.
Who is the executive at Disney that sat and watched Blind Spotting, which is one of my favorite movies that year.
Right.
A very striking depiction of just cultural biases and race in America and police and everything. Who at Disney sat and watched that movie and was just like, I want that guy for our Fox movie. I think he would be great at directing a mocap bear.
I mean, that's what I was thinking while you were describing Blind Spotting. I was like, yep, this guy can do a handsome fox rogue that fights crime to folk music.
I mean, that crossed my mind as I was watching Blind Spotting. I said this movie would have been perfect if there had been chickens dancing, photorealistic chickens dancing around in the background. Would have made that a perfect movie.
It's not just the foxes, right? Everything's going to be horrifying in this. Like,
yes,
imagine the rooster with the lute. Like, that's going to be weird.
The rhinoceros guards, the crocodile soldiers.
I don't like any of this. What are people going to do when that one peasant takes off his fake leg and takes gold out of it? Like, that's going to look really alarming.
What does a photorealistic fox disguised as a photorealistic stork look like in this bizarre, mad, uncanny valley hellscape that they're creating?
I mean, Moulton, if you'll bring back that fox picture back up, that sneak peek at Robin Hood, it looks like that, but with a stork mask.
Donate to Direct Relief, or we'll show you the fox again. That's a threat. That's a Screen Junkies threat, or whatever we are. Fandom Entertainment.
Yes.
Is there a way to do this right? Like, should they have just done like a 3D animated Zootopia remake?
Yeah, I think if you ditch photorealism, like you can make cool anthropomorphized animal movies. Zootopia being the proof of that. Like, I wasn't disturbed by any of those animals. In fact, Judy Hopps did the opposite. So, like, why not just embrace that and roll with you have animation, you can make it look like anything, and yet we're like slavishly devoted to making it look like planet Earth got hit with like a radiated moon rock and everything started talking like, I'm alive. But it sounds like Idris Elba. Yeah, but it's all celebrity voices. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh.
Also, I also think that, and this is maybe a dirty little secret. Sorry, I was leaning on a frame.
Tell us more.
I think people like the Hot Fox, and they like the Oodalali song. I don't know how much affection people actually have for that Robin Hood movie.
It's not very popular. Like, it's truly not been one of the ones that people still reference and rewatch. And I know people, Robin Hood fan 69 is typing at me right now. But like, we were just looking at some data on this, weirdly enough, for something else for Fandom, and it's not one of the more popular Disney movies by a long shot.
Which is weird because it is really good. I remember it got popular. It usually gets popular because someone remembers that the songs are good. There was a band a year or two ago, just lost the name. Oh well, that they did a cover of "Not in Nottingham," which blew up, and so then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the Hot Fox," and it got a little popularity surge. But I don't know. Does Disney have an ulterior motive with the mocap animation? Are they?
It's cheap. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's easy.
Really?
You just have to. Well, I mean, it's easy in the sense of like you shoot some people in bodysuits and and you go like, it's not an easy thing to do, but I just mean like you don't have to build a set. You can get big stars to do it because they don't have to fly out to location. They can do their work in a relatively shorter amount of time, so you can get a bigger cast of stars. Like I don't mean easy in the sense like it's incredibly difficult from a technical level, but from a actual time commitment level, it's much easier to get a big cast of people in for one of these things because they don't have to do as much. They don't have to travel as much or as far. They can get them in one remote location. You can shoot all their stuff. They don't have to shoot it together with anybody. You can get people separately. You can shoot a scene with 4 different people across 3 different weeks. I mean, I
which
think that's
always feels great, in a finished product when you can tell no one was in the room with each other.
Yeah,
chemistry.
easy's not the right word. It is more conducive to getting a larger cast for in a much easier way. So, and it's leveraging another of their IP that they have.
Love leveraging IP.
Yeah,
It's the thing I miss the
right?
most. It's the first thing I'm gonna do when I get out of quarantine is leverage an IP.
But in the privacy of your own home, please.
Yes.
Hey guys, hey, thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing and doing all those things. Yeah, please hit there's a thumbs up, and you should hit it. That'd be very nice. It helps these live streams push out, and it helps us keep doing this stupid show where I corner Dan and force him to tell me who the most attractive character in the Robin Hood animated classic is. Dan, go.
Well, it's Robin Hood, obviously.
It's the
Yeah, that's
fox.
fair.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
How's that
That's
a
fair.
question?
Well, some people have the hips. What are you doing? That's a light bulb. It will break. Yeah, some people have a hipster, response where they're like, "Oh, well, it's obviously Lil Jon or whatever, or Prince John," and I'm like, no.
A bear? I guess there are bears.
Some people are into the bear. The fun thing is she can't get down from the chair. She's an idiot.
There's a whole bear community. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Attack!
we're doing it.
Attack,
There
Skimble
she
Shanks.
goes.
We're doing it. You did it. Look at you. I hate you so much. Hey, we got plenty of stuff to watch. We got a great video on Ahsoka Tano that's doing real good. Make sure you watch that. Hey, watch this. It's a video called Watch This about Black Widow that we put out yesterday. Spencer, talk about it.
You can't see no Black Widow until December? November? I don't know.
November.
November. So we broke it down for all the movies that can fill the Black Widow shaped hole in your life. I think we came to the right conclusion, despite what the data was telling us, to watch True Lies. So watch True Lies.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. Honest trailer for Cats dropped today. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
Relieved. Well, a little guilty for unleashing that.
Yeah,
on the world, but
again.
Yeah.
See, I've been waiting for this day since halfway through the movie. The first time I saw it, it's like I cannot wait for the day that we release the honest trailer for this. So, nor can your cat, Joe.
we're making this as hard on me as possible. Thank you, Sarah.
It's not an easy show today, Joe. Sorry.
No, it's really not. There's a lot going on over here. And there's her butthole. Thank you. Hey, it's the butthole cut. I don't know how to transition to that from direct relief. Hey guys,
don't be a butthole.
Don't be a butthole. Donate to direct relief. We're all working from home. We're all struggling. We're all in quarantine. We're all dealing with things like your cat showing your ass on a Zoom call in front of the internet. Meanwhile, there are people doing some real work out there and really helping, in addition to essential workers and grocery store employees, healthcare workers. Thank you guys so much. Direct Relief is coordinating with public health authorities, nonprofit organizations, and businesses in the U.S. And China and beyond to provide PPE, personal protective equipment, and essential medical items to healthcare workers in response to the coronavirus. We have a link in the description. If you're able to give, please give. If you're just able to sort of tweet about them or drop a mention about Direct Relief on Facebook, please do that. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we're all in this together. And yeah, that's about all I got. just been living in this box for 30 days, and I don't know how time or words or social interactions work anymore. How about you guys?
Same, brother. Hard same.
Hard,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's the three of us. It's the amigos, baby. It's the three caballeros, right?
It's like half Spicoli, half Austin Powers. I don't know what the voice was, but I liked it.
That's my John Mulaney. Thought it'd be fun to maybe do a little launch trailer commentary. Talk about Cats.
Yeah, we could sneak one in.
Spencer,
Let's do it.
take it.
Hey, party people, welcome to Australia commentary episode, blah 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 blah.
Uh-oh.
Am I gone?
If you haven't heard enough of that yet. Oh God, have
No,
we?
I'm
You briefly froze, Spencer, but you're back now.
Okay,
You're
we're
here.
back.
Okay, we're all here.
We're back.
Mhm.
Yep.
We're here. We're talking Cats. It was a bad movie. Discuss.
It was a nightmare. Honestly, I had a hard time focusing on it at all because it's like I still don't know the names of the cats or really what was happening, and I know even people who were paying attention probably don't either. But it was it was such a jarring movie. It was hard to focus on, quite honestly.
It's the
Yeah,
product.
I'm just bringing up my impressions. I'll go ahead. It's just I usually would write pretty detailed notes when I watch an honest trailer. I'm marking down time codes. I'm saying, at minute 28, this happens. That's kind of interesting, or that's kind of weird. In this sense, I've written, this is horrifying. Stop saying Jellicle. The scale is all fucked up. Everything's too big and too small at the same time. Is this really going to be 2 hours of cats introducing themselves? Oh God, it is. So those are my notes for my first watch of Cats. I didn't manage to get into too much detail.
You hit those beats in the trailer.
Yeah, I think we hit all of that.
Well,
this is what I've loved is now the second wave of Cats, which is all of the articles that are now coming out about the making of the film.
Mhm.
Starting with the fact that the director, Tom Hooper, like, according to, and again, perhaps a lot of these effects artists are have a reason to have an axe to grind, but also just like it seems like, according to them, like he wasn't quite even sure how any of it worked, and like there were no tracking dots put on people, which is a vital thing for visual effects.
No.
And
wow.
like apparently there was a report that there was no click track to the music, so the editors had to like splice together like actual like completely different takes of singing. It sounded like as difficult as this production would have been to make, it seems like every effort was made to make it even more difficult, which is wonderful when you're dealing with something of this magnitude and scale. But yes, like go out and read the articles that are now, including the butthole cut and everything else that's now coming out. Like the articles that are now coming out about the making of this film are almost as fascinating as the film itself. I say almost because nothing could be as fascinating as the absolute train wreck, disastrous, just glorious, complete and utter failure / success that Cats was.
Well, Dan, I feel like this has been a part of your life for a long time, and this is like a closing chapter on Cats for you.
I mean, it's a closing chapter on a lot of things. The plan was not for my last trailer to be this movie, but I guess it's sort of fitting because, yeah, I mean, I've been with Cats now for several months through charting, and then the countdown, and then the release of the movie, the review. It's sort of like the soup to nuts thing with Cats, and it ends up coming out the week that I'm leaving. So, it's almost appropriate that this is the trailer to come out this week, because
It's poetry.
it is. It rhymes. It's poetry. It rhymes.
It's poetry.
It all
Yeah.
rhymes.
But Dan, you are in the midst of there is a Dan special coming down the pipe that you are currently working on. I don't know if we're not going to tease what it is, but you are working on something.
Yes, I am. It's driving me almost as crazy as Cats did, but not quite.
Frankly, yeah, it's not something friends should do to each other, but here we are, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'd rather do a double feature of Cats than what you're doing. So I apologize as well.
But what I'm doing is more like a 30 times over feature. It's watching Cats every day for 2 months as far as time commitments go. More than
Yeah, just going back to Tom Hooper though, that's not his fault that the effects suck, or is it? I mean, I guess it's shared because he probably sold himself like, yeah, I can handle it, sure, no problem. But he had to have had like, I don't know what the equivalent of an AD is, but just for effects. Like somebody had to be like, you should really put dots on their faces. Like,
I mean,
like,
but he's the
Somebody
director.
else
I
should have
mean,
been doing that.
ultimately he's the director, and it sounds like, again, from these stories that are coming out, like he just didn't understand why you couldn't do certain things like immediately. Like there was a story that like like pre-visualization, like the early version of an effect shot, so you get it and it's like very rough, so the fur was very just rigid, and like it was because it was a first run of a, like, there again, according to these effects, like he would get these things and he would say like, what the hell is this? This sucks. Like, don't send me any more of these. I'm not watching any more of these. The effects are terrible. It's like,
oh yeah,
wait, no,
you got to start.
You don't seem to understand how this process works. So, if these reports are true, then yes, I'm going to put a healthy amount of the blame on his shoulders. Plus, he
basically, because he doesn't have any big effects movies on his reel or on his credits, so he must have just had like large scale visual effects and like the special skills of his resume, and they finally called him on it. Like how we all put Excel in there, but like I don't know how to use Excel.
I mean, Les Miserables had some effects, but ultimately it was shot 3 inches away from most of the actors' faces. You have very little to do as far as effects works go there.
Yeah. I don't know how there was a way to make this movie good though. Like, I guess in defense of the King's Speech guy, how, I don't know, because the musical's already an acquired batshit taste, right?
Yeah, well, I think you just do. I don't know how to make it work either, but I know just if you had propped a camera up on sticks and had like some talented people just do the musical in front of the camera in costume, it wouldn't have been the world's biggest meme and a titanic waste of everyone's time and money.
Yeah. You could have written, I think, a script around the musical that could have fleshed it out more, because the script, we don't really hit it, but it can't be overlooked how, the musical is mostly songs, if not all.
Mm-hmm.
They added some spoken word to this to sort of like try to hold the audience's hand. And I also don't think that it really can't be overstated how terrible that was as well. The addition of like things like, Judi Dench saying like, would you like to come with me to see the Jellicle choice? Like, it's really bad, awful dialogue that's added to
it. All
movie
sounds like
well.
Harry Potter spells. Like, it doesn't help balance out the weird ass movie like at all.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, it's a disaster on all fronts.
Yeah, the 80s were a crazy time when this was created. And Andrew Lloyd Webber just likes cats, and I think
himself.
Yeah, he's a odd duck. And yeah, in the 80s it was like the Mega musical, which was, I mean, it was mega everything. It was just everything was made of cocaine, and this is no exception. It's just a bunch of people scream singing cat names at you.
Yeah.
and it was popular because it's like a big spectacle, and you go to Broadway and you want to see something like big, and maybe it shouldn't be a movie.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I think this was doomed from the start, even when Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to adapt just a weird T.S. Eliot poem. Like, of all the stacks of things he had to inspire him, was he throwing darts at a wall and he was like, this?
Yeah, it was like, he loves cats. What can I say? There's a lot of cat lovers out there who just want to sing about how precious they think their own cats are. And does it translate? You be the judge.
Yeah. I mean, and most importantly, a cat is not a dog, which is what we learn when Judi Dench looks down the lens of the camera directly into our souls and tells us at the end of this movie. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, it's very much the theme. She works like James. It works like James Cameron in that way, where no fate but what you make, and a cat is not a dog. Just very clear, concise, and I really appreciate it.
Iconic.
Yeah. Plus, it gave us an opportunity to make fun of James Corden, which we will do at any and every chance that we get.
Yeah. Give us those Emmys.
Yeah. Well, Spence, you want to do a second episode of Honest Trailer Commentaries real quick?
Let's just keep rolling through them. We've got a few to catch up on, right? We haven't talked about Birds of Prey.
No.
a film that I think we were mixed on, but Joe more positively than the other two. Joe, what do you love about the Birds of Prey?
I really liked all the fight sequences. I thought were great.
Those are sweet.
The prison and the warehouse fight especially were fantastic. And the amusement park fight was great too. Although it was interesting, like seeing the reality of like a non-enhanced, like fewer effects, like version of that fight, making it a little less intense. Like they would jump off a little springy thing. And since they just actually shot that, it just did not look as cool as maybe if a CGI Huntress had launched off the springy thing. But I really like the fight and the action sequences, which I think they did like 80 to 90% of it themselves, which bravo. I liked the attempt at doing the Guy Ritchie snatch out of order. It just didn't quite click the way I wanted to. There were things that really bugged me, but overall not enough for me to be like, I don't like this. Like I enjoyed it. It was fine.
I also like the movie. I enjoyed it again on rewatch. I think that they made every mistake possible in the marketing of it, from the title to the rating to everything about how they chose to promote it. But the movie itself, I don't know. I liked it. I mean, it's not like one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's just I just think it was heinously, like, all of the risks that paid off for other studios as far as R-rated films and et cetera, did not pay off on this movie. So well, yeah, I still enjoyed it.
It seems like they went into it really wanting to make an R-rated movie. Like Margot Robbie's been really loud that like even while they're doing Suicide Squad, she was like, I want to do an R-rated Harley Quinn movie. So I feel like they went in with that want instead of figuring out what they wanted to make and then being like, is this rated R or is this rated PG-13? So whatever they were going to do, they were going to turn someone's legs into spaghetti, right? Yeah, no, I agree with you. I probably should have been PG-13. It probably should have been called Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. I think Kathy Ann's a really good director. And it also hit that wall of studio discovers a great indie filmmaker and then immediately throws them into the blockbuster tank, which is a tough gig, man.
I thought it was. I agree. I really like the aesthetic of it. I thought the fight scenes were awesome. I don't like. It's weird. I have to separate this because I thought that Margot Robbie did such an amazing job as the character. I just don't like the character. I guess that's just my inherent bias. I find that character really obnoxious, and like it's good as like a part of a group dynamic. Like, oh, she's with the Suicide Squad, so she can play off of Deadpool or some of these more grounding or serious or different types of funny characters. But when it was just her, it was a 2-hour-long Bugs Bunny cartoon where it's like, ain't I a stinker? Just so much mugging to the camera of like, did I do that? It's like, oh God, she's so cool and plays by her own rules. Like, that's fine.
Does this egg sandwich got any cheese?
Yeah, it was so like just preening to the for, which is fine, but if there's something to balance that out, or it's not that much of it. So I spent most of the movie annoyed.
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, it's like Guardians wouldn't have worked if it was like 90% Rocket, 10% everyone else. Like they found a really good balance.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Ewan McGregor was awesome.
So there you go. But he was having a good time. I like that. Yeah, that was fun to watch.
If you guys get a second to mention Snyder cut,
Wait, Ryan speaking.
Oh, we missed the Snyder cut.
Yeah, if you get a second to
assuming you guys can hear that Ryan's voice as well, we also can talk about this. Well, actually, first should we show the deleted scenes from Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we'll roll those now.
Yeah, let's
do that.
Outtakes.
but combines a great cast with awesome fight sequences that will make you hope the next time Warner makes a movie about female superheroes standing on their own, they actually get to stand on their own. Like, can we get an equal three-way for Gotham City Sirens? Okay, that came out wrong. Starring crazy ex-girlfriend, the Yas Queen of Crime, Batwoman. She was a skater girl, Baby Spice, Jokeress, Good Cop, Sad Cop, Crime Around the Rosie, Grumpy Cop, Banshee, Friday Night Fights, Driving This Crazy, Mezzo-Sopranoed, Deadbolt, Raven, but without magic, Shoot You with a Crossbow, Huntress the Hungry, Katniss Evermean. Would you like to see my mask? Serving you crime boss realness, McGregor, Mulan Rage, In Gut Gems, Riff Raff, Street Rat, Scoundrel, Take That, Gloom Kid, Dick Tracy Jr., Little Orphan Scammy. No joke here, you should just watch Ali Wong's Baby Cobra. It's funny. Wait, you don't want to know how I got these cars? And Bloodhound Gang's bass player. I mean Korn's drummer. I mean the guy from Crazy Town. Whew, I knew I'd get there. Mean Girls. Can't Hardly Wait. How Harley got her groove back at the expense of the Birds of Prey. Okay, fine. Kill off Victor Zsasz without seeing him do any real fighting. Kill off Black Mask without seeing him do any real fighting. But you don't give Harley an enormous murder hyena and keep it out of any real fight scenes. You broke the rule of Chekhov's hyena. I don't think I want to know what kind of freaky these rubber hands in this funhouse are for.
It is the Joker's funhouse. Like that place.
Well, Dan, what are they for?
Built by the Joker.
I don't know. That was the overwhelming thought on my brain, my mind, the entire time watching that movie. It's like I don't want to know what these hands are. It's just odd. It's. I think it's the finish. It's like if they were like Nerf hands, but it's like that glossy. I don't know. It's weird.
No, I get it. You want to know what I do with these hands?
Yeah.
No. Jared Leto built those for sure.
Yeah. We said the thing about Jared Leto's body double, but it is in retrospect when you look back, it is hilarious the lengths to which they go to exclude Jared Leto completely from the film. I mean, they show footage of Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad with Jared Leto in that scene, and they just like get around the back of his neck as quickly as they possibly can. It's pretty.
Yep. I feel like it's a good decision, honestly.
It feels deliberate.
Yeah. Well, you know. I still feel like it's a pretty good decision.
Will he ever come back? No, he's not coming back. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean,
he's
not coming back. He's moved on to false.
Yeah. It'd be fun if it did, though. At this point, like Son of Joker, just give him his own.
Joker Jr.
What's the Disney Plus? Yeah, an HBO Max series of Joker Jr. where he's like, yeah.
He learned.
Anyways, let's talk Snyder Cut.
Also the Joker. Sorry, just singing James Bond.
Now he's heir to the name. Well, it's you have to. It's obligated.
Yeah.
The Snyder Cut. Look, we did an April Fool's goof. I know it came out on March 31st, but we debated whether we should shift our date to April 1st or not. We said, no, you move, April Fools. So April Fools came on March 31st for us. Yeah. Just having a goof. It's a funny meme that is less funny to some, but we think it's funny that there's so much talk about this movie that came out 4 years ago, right? At this point?
I think we're coming up on 3 years, maybe. I don't know. And time has lost all meaning to me.
Yeah.
Right, but the enough time has passed that the people still clamoring for it. Like it's not gonna live up to 4 years of waiting, no matter, because no movie will. There's no film that's gonna pay off that kind of buildup. So what if we saw it and it was, and that's where we started with the Snyder Cut. Yeah, Joe.
Oh, I was going to say, I felt bad in this process because every wave of jokes I sent you, I was not understanding the premise of what we were trying to do.
It's fine. That's fine. I could have explained it better.
I would be like, here's a wave of jokes about the conspiracy theory behind the Snyder Cut. And then it'd be like, okay,
it's
here's
April
a wave of jokes
Fools.
about this.
Yeah, we're pretending it's real. But I do think it, real is a slippery word, but I imagine that we will see it. I do think we'll see it in our lifetimes.
I've come around and I want to see it, and maybe it's just because we're a little starved for joy and positivity right now, but I want to be able to see the faces of those sweet Snyder Cut boys when they get to see it, like with their big, shiny, happy, like kind of crying eyes, like when
the anime eyes,
really happy. Pop up. Like I think they deserve that at this point, and put a little love in your hearts, man. Like let's let these kids see the Snyder Cut. That's where I'm at now.
I have to look this up briefly because there was news over the weekend of why Jesse Eisenberg does not support the Snyder Cut movement. So I need to dig into that for a second. But I think that they'll string something together, right?
On a long enough timeline, yes. Because
if they're hurting, if HBO Max is hurting, for stuff to show when it drops, like someone will hastily put this thing together.
Well, because they put the Richard Donner cut together of Superman 2 like 20 years after the movie was made or something like that. I mean, I think if we don't see it in the next, I'm going to say year, then it's going to be one of those things where some executive in 15 years is going to see dollar signs and they'll put it together. But I stand by my belief. I know that there's been other things. It's done. It's not done. It's done. It's not done. I still think that there is probably an extensive amount of work that has to be done to get it ready to release as a movie. Anything other than, if you want to be seen it as a movie, and anything other than just like a thought experiment on what a movie could have been. And that does entail some expense. However, I do think that at some point, I don't know when, somebody's going to do the math and they'll say that they can get out of it what they're going to put into it, which would, probably be a fair amount of money. So yes, but I'm in the camp that if it doesn't come out in the next year, it's going to be 10 years or more.
Yeah, that seems fair. Until like effects budgets go down, relative to what it takes to finish. Yes. It sounds like there's the 2/3 of the movie would have to change, like a lot of it, which is crazy. Something doesn't add up about all this. Something's off here. I don't understand. No, the timeline. It just like, if Zack Snyder leaves the production due to personal tragedy, then why did they completely remake the movie?
Well,
why didn't they just hire someone to just execute what he had already started?
The insiders at the studio were saying when that news broke, it was being suggested that he had actually been removed from the project earlier, and that they were to sort of let the guy save a little face. And also, personal tragedy struck. They were just kind of gonna let the narrative be that they were letting him leave because his life blew up, But the word was he had been let go much earlier in the process, and that Whedon was already going to be coming on in XYZ, which would explain, I guess, why the movie's like 70% different.
Yeah, I mean that sucks on a lot of levels. To see a movie you were making be taken from, quote unquote, taken from you. So yeah. I hope he gets to. I hope he gets to make it someday. And I hope we get to see it, and I hope it proves all the haters wrong.
I mean, I think honestly, if you're still carrying the torch for the Snyder Cut, it doesn't matter what is in it. I think that for people that really want to see it, just seeing it is going to be enough. Yeah. It's not really going to matter much beyond that.
It's weird having so much hype and myth behind something that I know that I still won't like, just because I didn't like his take on DC characters in general. So that's weird, because even with stuff like, I feel like with other cuts, I'm at least like, ooh, I'm interested, the Lord of the Rings extended editions, or the mythical, 19 cuts of Blade Runner, or the Richard Donner cut. I've always been like, cool, let's see it. And with this, I'm just kind of like, I know that I still won't like this. Like black suit Superman is not like a key element of Superman for me, and stuff like that. But
well, Life Goes On. Is that the only other trailer we need to do a commentary on? Or
I do wish we had deleted scenes for this because I feel like we had 40 names in starring.
Oh no!
which I wish.
The chat asked for Mulan, and that's it. Sorry, Joe, my bad. But other than that, that's it.
Mulan's good. Mulan's a perfectly acceptable Disney movie. There's your commentary.
Let's get to what we're really here for, Spencer. Let's give you a second to be excited or not excited. I don't want to put a reaction into your face. We got Dune pictures, baby.
I look, I'm way ahead of you on this. I was so excited to see the release, and I'll say this: it looks like they're holding a lot back. Unless is this more than just Timothée Chalamet on the beach?
Oh yeah. There's a few. Hey, let's start rolling through them. And let Spencer
okay. Then bring them. Then
There's other people on it.
Perfect. Yes, that's looking good.
They got their suits on. Those things.
Okay, unclear what that is. Could be from Divergent. Okay, liking this. Yeah, we're back in the desert. Good. The sands. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a B'nai Gesserit if I've ever seen one. No, a B'nai Gesserit. I've never actually heard it out loud. B'nai Gesserit. They're witches. They're Catholic witches or something. It's crazy. That's cool. Yeah, sweet. Loving this. Who's that? He's cool.
Momoa with no beard.
Okay, badass, man. Yeah, these are. Come on, this movie's gonna look amazing. Oh, that's like the National Geographic cover. This is gonna be beautiful. This is gonna be the best movie ever made.
Just like a little bit of hype to it. I was admitting
this is my Snyder cut.
this
Release Dune.
I feel like for those who are unfamiliar with Dune, Spencer, tell me if this is fair or not. David Lynch made a Star Wars movie. I mean, it's based on a novel, obviously, but Lynch made a Star Wars movie that also included all the weirdest shit George Lucas wanted to put into Star Wars. Like, is that an accurate way to describe Dune?
Yeah, that's an accurate way to describe his movie. I think that the where I became a fan was the book, which is all-time sci-fi classic, and it's
Dune's a blind spot for me, I will admit.
Check it out, man. It's like it is, just in the parlance of our time, sadly, it's Game of Thronesy, because it is about families jockeying for power over scarce resources on this desert. And there's a little bit of quasi magic, but it's grounded in some sci-fi, I guess, because there's this spice that gives you eternal life and helps you travel the stars and stuff like that. So it's just it's such a unique and interesting world, and kind of different and weirder than most things you get to see, which is why it was such a good match for David Lynch, and why it's going to be even such a better match for Denis Villeneuve and Timothée Chalamet. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good.
You were talking about, because I'm also just interested to hear your Dune thoughts.
Dune thoughts.
Weekly show on Fandom Entertainment, Dune thoughts.
Dune thoughts.
Dune thoughts.
Dune thoughts.
Because you were sort of saying like it is an earlier Game of Thrones because you've got all these weird different houses and clans at war and stuff. Do you think is there a fear that Dune could get John Cartered a little bit, where people go see John Carter and they're like, oh, well, I've seen this, it's Star Wars, and it's like, well,
this movie's gonna flop hard. This is not gonna make its money back, and that's fine. You know what? That's not the kind of movies that Denis makes. He makes big, multi-million dollar sci-fi, brooding, miserable, but beautiful films, and this is going to be another one in that genre. So maybe, if people still bought Blu-rays, I feel like Blade Runner 2049 would have been the most successful film of all time, but we don't. So I don't know how he's getting this pulled off, but I'm glad he is.
It looks like that picture of Denis Villeneuve. It looks like he's sacrificing that extra to the Kalima. The heart, just the angle and the hand. It looks like it's time for the weekly sacrifice where I pick one.
To toss that heart to a sandworm.
Yeah,
Kalima.
Well, boys, before we wrap up with our final segment of the day, wanted to be sincere for a second. Really glad the three of us could do this one last time. Means a lot. I'm glad my cat could get into as many shots and wreck them as humanly possible. Sincerity over. Dan would like to talk a little bit about butts. He's requested this time. So Dan, I'm going to give you the floor to talk about butts.
Thank you. There was a story that passed across my desk today about the movie Splash on Disney Plus, and that the film, when you watch it, it has a little tag at the beginning that says it's edited for content, but they obscure Daryl Hannah's partial nudity, including mainly her butt, with CGI hair, which you can find on Twitter or Disney Plus, I guess. It looks really bad.
I think we've got it.
I think we might have it. I don't know.
We,
anyway,
cue the hairy butt, Moulton. Hairy
yes,
butt.
it's basically it's a very Disney. It makes it seem like Disney Plus is afraid of butts, but then through a little bit of research, I found out that Disney Plus is actually seemingly very okay with some butts. For example, there is a Hulk butt in Thor Ragnarok, and I confirmed this as of this morning. There is Thor butt Hulk butt in Thor Ragnarok. Very, very visible butt. There is Martin Prince butt in The Simpsons, which is there we go. So that's the revised version with she looks like Chewbacca. Like this is it's ridiculous.
That looks like I made it in Photoshop in 2 minutes.
Yes, they're the richest entertainment company in the world, and that's the best they can do.
The original idea was to just have me pop up.
I mean, it would look better. So it would make you think that they're not cool with butts, but there's Hulk butt. There's the end of that Bart of Darkness where the Simpsons get a pool. There's an extended shot of Martin Prince standing there with his butt out. And then I confirmed with the Simpsons movie, Bart Simpson, not just butt, Bart Simpson peen.
Full frontal Bart on Disney.
Intact in the Simpsons movie. And yet they have decided to obscure Daryl Hannah's butt nudity in a few different places in Splash. Which
those are all male. The male butt, much like the male nipple, is deemed less offensive in our society.
Well, I guess so, but that seems a little like who made them the arbiter of what butts are acceptable and what barts and butts are unacceptable.
Dan,
I agree, Dan. Free the crack.
I did not when I signed up for Disney Plus, I did not sign up to make them the arbiter of what butts I can see and what butts I cannot see. I don't remember signing away that.
Wait, what's that butt?
I don't know. That was just a mystery butt. I think that was Moulton just standing in front of his monitor. I don't know what butt that is.
Okay.
What butt that?
What is that?
Anyway, I'm very confused.
Oh, it's from Splash.
I'm very confused because if you're gonna have a butt policy, then at least make it consistent.
Well, look, yeah. I think it's less butt policy and more look. You're a parent. Your kid wants to watch something on Disney Plus. You turn on Splash. It's an old classic. And you're already faced with the issue of how do I explain to my child that a man could love a mermaid and that it's okay? It's man, fish, love. And, that's a lot to put on a parent. And then to then like wrap that up.
Disney's not going to do that. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But then
if people stop falling in love with mermaids, that they're going to have to take Ariel out behind the fish yards if they start doing anti-mermaid stuff.
That's true.
Well,
Disney's on the books as pro-mermaid, so they can't go anti-mermaid. So I guess they only thought that anti-butt was their way to go, but they're not even anti-butt.
Right. I think there were better ways to have obscured that butt. Like I think maybe if a swordfish had sort of flapped up into the air and done like a nice arc over the butt or something. Sure.
When it built a sandcastle.
Yeah, or just Greedo's face going, McClunky.
McClunky.
But because I believe, isn't Turner and Hooch on Disney Plus?
You do see Hooch's butt.
Well, and they shoot a dog. Like, isn't that way more traumatic to children potentially than like fleeting glimpses of Daryl Hannah's butt? Double, by the way, what I was reading. Not even her butt. Butt double.
I mean, if you're one of these horny liberals,
this is America, Dan. Come on. Of course we can shoot a dog. We can't look at a butt.
I mean, this is a very
there are no butts in the Second Amendment, Dan.
What do you think this is? Europe?
Bob Iger is reportedly now back at the helm at Disney. I was reading they just took out like a $15 billion line of credit. They're being very hard hit by this crisis. And the last thing that they can afford is to be sunk by an inconsistent butt policy.
No, that's fair. That is fair. Release
I'm
the
not saying which way they need to go. I'm just saying make it consistent.
No, I get it. Either this cheek or this cheek. But if you stand in the middle, you fall right in the crack. And
yeah, you do. Yeah, you can't split your audience like that.
Exactly. Split right down the middle.
Gentlemen, it's been a...
It stinks. Being in that position stinks. It
stinks. Yeah.
It's been a rare pleasure, gentlemen, sharing these cheeks with you. And we'll see you tomorrow right here
on
SJU. Bye, guys.